What just sticks out to you kind of at first glance about this Steelers defense that poses problems?
Well, it's the signature. It's how they play. They're relentless up front. They're good in the secondary. I was just listening to the tail end of Coach's presser, and he was talking about how good a player Hayward is. Watt, they got good players at all levels. Fitzpatrick, the linebackers run well. They play their scheme well. They're a veteran group like the group we just played a year ago with some rookies sprinkled in, or younger players sprinkled in, but they're really comfortable in their scheme and they play hard.
What have you made of Noah Fant as a receiver so far this year? A lot of catches, but the big plays haven't really come yet.
Yeah, I think the production's good. He had a opportunity the other night that we just missed on, which might have been a long one. Well, one of the early third downs, Teddy aborted the route and took him up the field, and we just missed on it. So I mean, he's doing what he needs to do. He's getting production. At some point, some of those will turn into long ones.
What is preparation like when you're dealing with the quarterback and concussion protocol? Is it parallel track, so Drew's got to be prepared to play, but are you able to get Teddy ready? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously in the protocol, so there's only certain things that we can and cannot do with him. He was able to do some stuff yesterday. He's going to do more today, and I think he's trending in the right direction. But it's also important that the backup gets his work. So, in a case like last week, if you go in and have to play, you have to be able to play at a high level.
Coach, what would you say to criticism that you didn't run the ball enough in the second half?
I think we were trying. We didn't hit on some of the passes that we wanted to, that might have opened up the game a little bit. That's always the criticism in a close game, right? And so I've said it all along, I believe in running the football. We have running backs that deserve to get their touches, and we'll continue to do that.
On Monday, Vic mentioned that yards per carry, even though they were pretty healthy for the running backs, maybe didn't reflect what was going on. What were some of the stats that kind of reflected struggles in the run game on Sunday?
Well, I think early on, we missed on some big passes early, right? And so then you run to try to keep on schedule, and then we had some long third down situations. And typically, if you're staying on the field and converting third downs, you get more runs. I mean, that just goes without saying, and you feel more comfortable doing it. We've been a team that's been able to drive the ball, which means when you're running the ball, you're making yards. And it didn't go our way the other night. I got to be better. We got to be better. We just got to play better than we did against Baltimore and get back on the stick.
Did any of that going away from the running game have to do with the change at quarterback from the first half to the second half?
No, and I don't think that was the narrative I had in my mind, getting away from the running game. We weren't converting, staying on the field, so you don't get to do all the things you'd like to do.
What's the toughest part for Drew being thrown in there in your eyes, and how did he handle that?
I think he handled it well. He had some good plays in there. But they continued to challenge us like they did when Teddy was in there, and we just didn't perform at the level that we had in the first three games.
Vic talked about earlier in the week about Drew still thinking, he wants to be a starter someday, and Vic believes that. How do you feel like he's approached being the backup so far through the first?
He's been great. I think he's doing everything he can to get himself right and ready to play each week, and he's also doing everything he can to help Teddy be good and be ready to play. So I've been pleased with how he's been approaching things, and just like anything, we all just got to get back on the stick and put a better performance on the field.
How did Quinn look in his first start?
He did a good job. He did the things he does pretty well. He's very physical and stout. He's sturdy in the run game. Had some good sets in the pass protection game. But like all of us, and me included, there's some things in that game that we need to be better.
People beat the drum about running the ball. What challenges does this front coming up, the Steelers front, have towards getting that done? And how important is that balance when you go in there on the run?
I think it's important to stay balanced, and to balance each game. It might be a little bit different. But when I point to it, as I mentioned, we didn't stay on the field and convert third downs. We had a lot of long third downs early in the game. And when those don't get converted, then where you're not staying on schedule, then you don't get to do some of the things that you would like to do. And for us, it involves running the ball.
What challenge do the Steelers bring to that, though? How hard do they make it?
I think they're good against the run, but we're gonna try to run it and pass it, and do the things that we do well, and try to match up against a really good defense.
How would you evaluate Lloyd Cushenberry's play through the first 4 weeks, and where does he have room to keep growing?
Yeah, I think he's much improved from a year ago, and it's like he's done a really good job of directing us in terms of the protections. He's done a good job in the run game, and he's battling, and I think he's just like everybody up front. They're battling against what have been pretty good defenses, and he just needs to continue to do that. But the arrow's up on him. I think much more seasoned player. What he went through last year really will help him in his career. To be a rookie and be asked to do the things he did a year ago helped him, seasoned him quite a bit as a rookie, and I think it's showing this year.
Where were your protection issues, do you think, last week, and is it a big point of emphasis this week?
Yeah, it goes back to everything. We got to do everything better than we did last week. There's no disturbing trends in there. We just had, a guy here, a guy there, and we were playing against some pretty exotic pressures up front. We actually most of the time got hats on the right people, and they just did a good job.
Coach, you're worried about the next play call and trying to score, so when do you have time to appreciate Javante's run? Do you have to wait until you go back and watch the film, or can you react to the moment and then still get the play call?
I appreciated it and gave him one right after that. So, yeah, no, I appreciate it. Listen, I believe in running the football. And, numbers point to that in terms of, sometimes teams don't run the ball. I think it's important that you run the ball for your offense as well as for your defense, and I think after the fact in a game like last week, there's a lot of things that go into what you did, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that we weren't, we didn't play at our best, and so then all these questions sort of pop up.
Garrett
at the end
really
of training-
struggled last week and was critical. Garrett was really critical of his own performance last Sunday, saying he's got to be better. You've gotten to know him. You were kind of advocating for him even when he struggled those previous 3 years when you were new to him. Did you say anything to him? How has he looked this week in terms of rebounding?
I think we all, we come in on Monday, and in my mind, Monday is an extension of Sunday. So you go over everything that happened Sunday, and we all go back and look at what happened, and we all assess what we might have done differently. So as we move forward and we get back at it on Wednesday, we all go through that process, and Garrett went through it just like every other player, even the ones that everybody's perceived that played well. You go through that process, and the fact that he's willing to embrace that process, to me, tells me that he really cares. He's a outstanding player, and when you could admit that there's things that we can do better to help us win, I think it's a good thing, because this thing's a journey as we go. And unfortunately, there's bumps in the road, and so you got to get over that bump and then try to get better. And I think that's where we are and he's at.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Pat.